What up, Eagle Nation? I got really good news. It looks like to me that your Philadelphia Eagles are buyers at the trade deadline. They are not sellers. Um, Basically, we look at how we can make this team better and how we can go on a run. And how we is doing that by calling other teams, fleecing other general managers. He's trying to get us another treat right before Halloween. And it might can happen. Look, man, just in case y'all forgot, this is who I am. This is right here is what I do. This is the Diamond Crew. But I want to give a shout out to my G's and my OGs. But you already know what to do. But if you're new to the channel and you like content like this, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to like. I need you to comment. I need you to subscribe. I need you to turn your notification bell on so you always up to date. But look, man, this is the game preview for the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Washington Commanders for the second time this season. The game will be on October 29th around noon. It'll be located at FedEx Field. Your Philadelphia Eagles are 6-1, while the Washington Commanders are 3-4. You know, the weather conditions is looking about around 75 degrees. You know, it's great weather right in enough time to end the commie season. That's what we're looking for right now, man. You know, according to some reports for the commies, you know, if they're not able to win this game, they're gonna be looking towards tanking for the rest of the season. They're gonna be calling out special forces because they're gonna have to bring the tanks out. And that's what we want to do. The Eagles are currently ranked third offensively. The Eagles are also ranked sixth defensively, while Washington is ranked around 23rd offensively, and they're ranked around 29th defensively. So that's on two different ends of the spectrum right there. We're looking at third and sixth versus 23rd and 29th. The keys to victory is let's blow these guys out and get out of town. That's basically what the keys of victory are, and it should be very easy to do so. Washington, they won one out of their last four games. They haven't been playing well. This may be like a trap game for us. It might be a game where we look over the trash commies, and because we got Dallas the week after. But I don't want to do that, man. I want to make sure that we look at this team, we beat this team. I would like to do it early as usual, so I can sit, my starters sometime in the fourth quarter. The Eagles have won 3 out of their last 4 games. We already know they 6-1. We know they're not playing. We looking to do our thing. So key players for the Philadelphia Eagles, in my opinion, of course, is going to be Jalen Hurts. He needs to have a good game. Get in here, get out of there, and get ready for next week. DeAndre Swift is another player who we need to do his thing. We got to make sure we hand him the ball. Even if the run gets stuffed a little bit, we just don't need to go away from the run. I don't think that's good for us. I think that when we establish the run early on, it works. We get through these games beating up on these teams a lot more often when we're able to run the ball. That's what we do. A.J. Brown is another key player for me. He's looking to make his, I think, 5th or 6th straight 125-yard game. He always beats up on the Commanders. He's always a tough guy for the Commanders to maintain. So there you go, man. He's definitely one of my key players on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, I'm looking for Reed Blankenship. He's healthy this week. He had the rib injury. I'm looking for him to have a really good game. Don't let nothing over the top. I'm looking for him to fly around and make tackles. He's one of those players who we rely on a lot. Hassan Reddick is another key player for me. He had a outstanding game, especially stopping a run last week against Miami. You know, and Miami was one of those teams who was first in everything, especially running. He helped us shut Mostert down last week, and I'm hoping that he can do the same. We cannot allow Brian Robinson to do what he did to us in game 1. We have to stop the run, and I feel like Hassan Reddick is up for the challenge. And also, man, I want to talk about, Howie Roseman and how aggressive he has been so far. He was able to acquire all-pro safety Kevin Byard, and that's why we love Howie. That's why we love him. He knows what he's doing out here. He knows how to fleece these other general managers, these other teams, to get the players on our team, to make us successful. Obviously, we one of the best teams in the league, and we're looking, to keep that going, and we're looking to make sure that we continue winning, to make sure we sow up that seed towards the end of the season. But look, man, shout out to Howie, because there's a lot of other teams in this league and a lot of other general managers and owners who not even looking at trying to make their team better. And we don't got to deal with that. So that's a good thing for us. All right, well, while we're here, let's go ahead and get into the injury report, the updated injury report for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Jordan Davis did not practice with a hamstring injury. He is listed as questionable. Bradley Roby is out with a shoulder injury. James Bradbury and Zach Cunningham are both limited with an ankle injury. Reed Blankenship was full participation and available for the game. Milton Williams was full participation and available for the game.
It's a few players on there that's kind of concerning, but I do think that the Philadelphia Eagles is in position to win this game. We've been dealing with injuries all year, and that's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Let's go in here and beat up on these commies and get up out of there. That has to be the key to victory. Beating them early. The Eagles have won 5 out of the last 6 games at FedEx Field. So, that's really like our stadium. We run that stadium. We have been winning the last few games that we played there. So I'm looking forward to the Philadelphia Eagles to do that again. We need to go in there and beat them up. Last time that broke down stadium almost killed my quarterback, when the railing fell off and almost like broke his knee. So let's go in there and beat these guys up and make them hit the reset button. That's what time it is for them. If you look at the head-to-head history, the Washington Commanders do lead it 89-83 with 5 ties. So, this is a time for us to go ahead and beat them up and get our record up and lead that series, get one step closer to leading that series, basically. And that's what we're looking forward to do. And I think that we are going to do that. If you want to talk about the keys to victory, we're going to have a successful run game. We're going to have to play very clean. We did do well last week. The Dolphins fans, they trying to, blame everything on the Zebras. Like we, haven't had bad officiating ever in our career. Like it happens all the time. Zebras missed the calls. Some of the worst officiating was in the game when we played y'all last year, when y'all tried to rip Dallas got her head off, and we didn't get none of those calls. So, we're not going to sit here and blame the refs and blame the officiating. That's not what we do. If we lose, that's because we didn't make enough plays. We didn't play to the standard. These other teams in this league is looking for some sympathy. They making these videos online, trying to prove how many calls that the refs missed last week, with the Eagles versus Miami. We don't want to hear that. We don't care about that. We don't care if the Zebras make calls that don't go in our favor and vice versa, because it happens in this league. So, like I said, man, the Eagles should focus on following, the offensive strategies that we use to win, making sure that we use our strengths like this offensive line and this defensive line. We got to make sure that, we put those guys in the right position to be successful. And we do that by, just running well, handing the ball off on offense, making those fatties up front do their job. You know what I'm saying? And on the defensive side, you already know, like just like we did last week, let's pin our ears back, man. Let's pin our ears back and get after Sam Howell. And we already know that Sam Howell is the most sacked quarterback in the league, so why not leave our mark there? I think he's been sacked 40 times the last 6 games or whatever, last 7 games or whatever the case may be. So let's pin our ears back and get to Sam Howell, because when you get to Sam Howell, man, you really you really beat these guys up. You know, they're not used to blocking the offensive line like this. So, you know, like I said, man, establishing a strong running game is key. Using a mix of running backs and schemes to keep the defense guessing is so key, you know, to winning this game. You know, capitalizing on the offensive line strength and run blocking, open up these run lanes. What else? Let's see. What else do we have on the keys to victory? I think that, you know, if we were able to use some misdirection plays and some sweeps to exploit the weaknesses of the Commanders in that run defense, we're gonna have to use a little bit of misdirection, in my opinion, because they do have a really good defensive line with Sweat and Chase Young and a whole slew of guys. So if we can use misdirection to keep these guys guessing, you know, that may help us do what we need to do. We have to be disciplined, you know, with pre-snap penalties, you know, like false starts and offsides. We need to focus on not having that happen, you know, and knowing what the snap count is on the offensive side, and we need to maintain concentration on the defensive side of the ball. And I think that we've been doing pretty good with that. And like I said, man, we need to play a clean game. We need to prioritize ball security, man. We cannot go into this game turning the ball over like we've been doing all year. We need to play a clean game. You need to limit the turnovers and give the offense more opportunities, and don't squander them opportunities if you are the offense. You know what I'm saying? Like no fumbles, no pick sixes, none of those things. Let's get ahead of this team and knock them out and be done with it. To me, I feel like we need to start the game off with some type of aggressive play calling or aggressive game plan, you know, to build that lead early. We have to build that lead early and make these guys trail us second quarter, third quarter, all the way into the fourth, to the point where we can go ahead and bench our starters. You know, because scoring early, man, can put a lot of pressure on the Commanders and force them to play catch up, you know, limiting their run call. You know, maybe they can put more passes in the air, and we can get Sam Howell to make a mistake, especially by pressuring Sam Howell, because when you do that and you sack him, his mindset does not be the same. We need to exploit the Commanders' offensive line weakness by bringing a little bit of extra pressure, and making these guys, making Sam Howell uncomfortable. If we can do that, then I don't see why we will lose this game. I would like to see, you know, a few more blitz packages and stunts, you know, to create opportunities for sacks, you know, and make sure that Sam Howell is just like, man, what is going on? We got to make him feel it, man. We have to make him feel it. We need to focus on maintaining gap integrity, you know, to contain Howell's mobility. A lot of times in that first game, Howell was able to, you know, extend plays, extend drives with his legs. We don't want to see that, man. We need to fly around and tackle well and make sure that we're not giving this team anything, because it's a trap game. This is like it's like a playoff game for them. You know, it's like win and they end, lose, and it's time to pack it up. So we want to make sure we got them packing it up. We also want to contain Washington passing attack. They do have Scary Terry over there. They do have Samuel over there. They do have Jahan Dotson over there. You know, so they do have some players, some wide receivers that you need to watch. You know what I'm saying? So definitely have to maintain that passing attack. We have to disrupt the time in the Washington passing game by pressuring Howe and covering the receivers tightly. With Kevin Byard being available for this game and Reed Blankenship being available for this game, I think that we'll be able to shut down the middle of the field, and also we will be able to cover everything over the top, especially with Kevin Byard, man, because that's what he specializes in. He's a ball hawk style player, and he rarely lets anything over the top. So that'll be good for us. If we can, create turnovers like interceptions or fumbles, that will definitely stifle their offensive momentum, and it'll definitely put them in a bad position. And that's what we want to do, man. We have to adapt and we have to adjust. We have to analyze the game's progress and be prepared to adjust the game plan, based on the commander's reactions. And I think that Sean Desai has been doing that. He's been doing a really good job this year of adjusting. He did a really good job last week, on the cheetah. So shout out to him for that. And shout out to Eli Ricks, man, for being one of those guys, that helped us. We have to be able to stay flexible and adapt to any changes in the game, any adjustments that they make towards us. When they make an adjustment towards us, we have to adjust as well. And I think that we've been doing a good job. Executing these strategies, maintaining a strong run game, limiting mistakes, and pressuring Sam Howell will increase the Eagles' chances of beating the Washington Commanders and maintaining control of the game. That's really all I can say right there, man. That's everything in a nutshell. And it should be easy enough. We are the better team. We are the most talented team in this situation. If we want to talk about some coaching strategies, I would like to see Sean Desai keep up the great work. Like I said, adjust as needed, as he's shown us he can do. But I do want to bring up the awareness on situational play calling for Brian Johnson. As we move through the season and all the conversations I had with other content creators, I feel like that I want to see more from Brian Johnson, but I don't want to give up on him just yet. At one point, I was to the point where I was trying to give up on Brian Johnson, but, at the same time, we got to think about, the experience of Brian Johnson. This is his first time calling plays. This is his first time being the offensive coordinator. So we are 6-1. So we have to give him a shot. We have to let him learn from the mistakes that he has made. Situational play calling, to me, has been his downfall. And I think if he can work on that, then we can probably, take it easy on Brian Johnson, because I'm telling you, we've been on him. We've been on him. But there's a few key matchups, in my opinion, for this game. I think A.J. Brown against any defensive back is a mismatch on this team. I think that he's probably one of the best receivers in the league, and it's extremely tough. It's extremely tough to stop him. And that he's looking, like I said earlier, he's looking to have his sixth game over 125 yards. And if he can do that, he can probably break Megatron's record or tie it. I got to look at the stats on that one. But no matter what, he's in the question. And he's doing really well. I'm also looking for Devontae Smith to have a good game. I'm not saying he hasn't had, a good game last week. I'm not saying that, but at the same time, I think that, if you're looking at Schmitty from last year, and you're looking at Schmitty from this year, there is a bit of regression there. He hasn't looked the same. He has been making some plays. I don't want to get off and say, that's a concern there, because I'm not concerned about Schmitty. I just think that A.J. Brown has been having a monster year, and it's tough for Schmitty, to get the targets that he wants. But those are the two key matchups, I think, on offense. I think this receiving core match up well against the defensive backs, even at the tight end spot with Dallas Goedert. The Eagles did elevate Julio Jones to the active roster today, and I know he's looking forward to coming in and getting a few key passes, a few key catches in this game. So let's get into the game predictions. I think that the Eagles will win. They will beat the Commanders 48-20. I think it's going to be a big game offensively. I think that we're going to get the running game going early, which is going to open up the pass game, and then once we beat the Commies tomorrow, like I said, it's time for them to bring out the special forces because they will be sellers at the trade deadline. But if you're still watching this and you still tuned in and you felt like this video helped you out, man, do me a favor. Do the channel a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on your notification bells so you're always up to date because Hodder going to always bring this work. Like I said, man, I appreciate the click. I appreciate you watching. But for now, Hodder out.